Danger, metal sparkles everywhere. So shiny.
I'm building a tiny teardrop camper from scratch. The Wander Tears Vega. The goal is to get this rig ready for our family adventures in 2026.
All right, we are roughed in. This is 063, so I decided to screw everything down. And I put some sealant in the screws, but it'll be covered with butyl tape and the trim and or the hinge. This side will be trim because this is the bottom, which is a little bit tighter of a curve, but it did curve into it. Danger, metal sparkles everywhere. So shiny. Well, that worked out pretty well. So everything is trimmed right up to the edge. Just have some cleanup to do. And clean up all these metal sparkles too. But that worked out well. Worked out real well. All right. Now I just want to drill out these 3 holes for the wire placement so I know where I want to put my lights and the license plate holder. So I don't really have a good drill bit to use, so I'm going to use my Dremel and just grind that open. Ground it open by hand, and that fits in there just like that. That's so cool. And drill the holes and get everything attached and sealed. All right, now on to wiring. So I went through and tested the lights. They all work. I'm gonna have everything come out from this corner. This corner right here matches that corner there. I'm just checking a bunch of times. So that means I do have to run these wires through where the latch is going to go. I wanna make sure I leave enough room to be able to pull this wire out in case I ever have to replace any of that stuff. Now on these lights, black is ground. So usually on trailer for the light wiring, the white wire is ground. But on the lights, this black wire is ground, the white wire is the low, and the red wire is the high. But on the license plate light, it's opposite. So this is ground, and this is running lights. So just have to make sure to pay attention to what all that stuff is. And I'll also have the overhead lights too. All right, I got my wire set out and I'm just trying to keep myself organized. So yellow, let me double check. Yellow is left turn. Green is the right side, so that goes over there. Then brown is going to be my running lights, and white is going to be ground. And that's the wiring. I've got the trailer wires hooked up. I'm gonna give those a test here too. And then I also have this black and this red, which are for the overhead lights. And I think I'm gonna put them like right here. So doing our test, just for the lights, this is running lights. License plate light should be on, and then those ones, and then this one is turning to the right, that way. Okay, and then turning left. So shiny. So what I'm gonna do is put the hinge in place. So I wanna get the aluminum bar cut that goes on top of here and figure out the placement for the the hinge, for the hurricane hinge, so I can trim this trim to where that needs to be. Except I left my Sharpie inside of there. I've got that bar cut. Now I gotta cut part of the hurricane hinge. Yeah, I wasn't supposed to cut that part. It's supposed to go this way. I thought for some reason it would go this way. This top of the hinge would go in with the hinge towards the bottom. But then I'm like, wait a second, if this is down in here off of this bar, the bar's moving. This is all the way down this way, then there's no way I would get the hatch on. So I cut it wrong. It's supposed to go this way. So I ordered another one. $100 mistake. Not the worst I've ever done, but yeah. Well, messing up my hinge might have been a good thing. Just kind of looking at the state of the hatch. I noticed on the top that there's a bit of a bow. So I'm gonna take this off, take it outside because it's nice today, and see if we can't straighten this out a little bit, because I want the hinge to be straight on the top. Don't have a straight edge that's longer than 4 feet. So I'm just gonna use this scrap piece of wood here. Arva, what are you eating? If I look at this with the hinge and I just put this right in the middle, but if I look on the edge, there is a nice gap there. So I have no idea where I put my Sharpie. Oh, we're gonna do this a different way. I wanna go all the way out, as long as it doesn't peel on me. Go right to the edge here. All right, well that took about 45 minutes. It's nice and flat now. One thing I'm noticing is that this is kind of bowing everywhere. Like it'll kind of pull up in the middle, because I am gonna screw this all down on all 4 corners. I don't know how else I really should do it, but that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, I got all this on. Look at that. All the trim is on. Yep, that's the trim for the hatch. So let's see if we can get this hinge going. It looks really, really good. Also, I decided not to use any butyl tape around any of this, just because I want to make sure the hinge has enough purchase to really hold this whole thing. Alright, so just a couple more things left to do on this hatch. The last thing is to get a skin on the inside, make my holes for the lights and for the wiring over here. And then the other thing is I got the replacement hinge part in. All right, so I'm gonna cut this side, these little pieces here. Also, I gotta figure out something with this here too. I wonder if I can actually peel this up. I have double-sided tape. Oh yeah. I can peel this. I have a problem with the curve right here, and I am going to have to adjust that. We better get the garage door open so Arvo can go outside, because he's ready. He's ready to go outside. But the door's not open yet. Let's go. Now yeah, we finally got some snow. Actually looking like winter. All right, I've got the correct side of the hinge down this time. And I found my Sharpie. I found it. But now I've lost it again. Maybe I put it where it's supposed to go? Nope. Found the Sharpie. Plan for this to push out far. Nice sandwich. Beetle tape is on, and I've got sealant put into the corners, so I think it's done. But what I want to make sure is that this is lined up nice. So come on up. So you can take the square, put it against the side of the camper like that. This looks pretty good.
Yep, I got it.
Nice. You want to put a little dab right in that hole? Here's the plan. This has kind of hardened the sealant enough where I can start to do some trimming. So I want to trim this side and that side, leaving all the clamps on, and then I'm going to screw in my trim piece on this side and that side. Then I can take the clamps off on one side probably at a time and then try to get the trim in for that too, re-clamping it and then screwing it in. And the screws will hold it all in place along with the adhesive. All right, so that worked out well. There's still some staples that are holding this in, and there was just enough force holding this in, especially with these end caps on and screwed on, that this didn't pop up. So I'm going to just bend it in like this. This stuff bends pretty easily. There you go. Okay. So we got everything together, had a few issues along the way, of course, but we got our holes in for the lights and our trim on. But yeah, the hatch fell on the ground. No one got hurt, that was the biggest thing, but we had a pretty big dent in the trim, so I'll have to do some work to get this, to straighten that out. Bummer. But we got this part done. Now the hatch is ready to go on to the camper.